another example of Lord Krishna when he sent his friends to get food, but they came back, said they didn't have anything. They were all agitated, but Lord Krishna was not. He was very calm and he laughed at it and he searched for another alternative. This benefit of change perception is what we require in our life. Now, another example was when Arjuna and Krishna on Kurukshetra, where Arjuna had false compassion. He didn't have true compassion. The false compassion means he had compassion on moral grounds, not on spiritual grounds. And he did not want to fight. And Krishna said, advised him and made him realize what his situation is, what his ashram is. He said, you're a Kshatriya and it is your duty to fight. And after explaining, Arjuna realized and then he listened to Krishna. That is also another way of changing our perception, listening to Lord's instructions. Then Parikshit Maharaj. He was cursed that he will have only 7 days to live. And he was very afraid initially, didn't know what to do. And then after listening to Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, he said, my life is perfect now. I understand the truth. And now I have no fear of dying or repeated deaths because I have absolved myself in the absolute truth. Then we have another example, Prahlad Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, chapter 4. He was always absorbed in thinking of Krishna. And because he was always absorbed in thinking of Krishna, Krishna had a very soft corner for him and protected him from Hiranyakashipu. Then here we see that he was not at all afraid. He was not troubled by what his father was trying to do to kill him. And this is one way of perceiving problems. Then the gopis also, they were always asking where Krishna is, even though they knew that Krishna is in their heart. This is the sweetness of their bhakti. This is another perception to life. Then that's it. And then finally we learn lessons from every character of Mahabharata, and we have to know who is the Dhritarashtra in us, who is the Duryodhana in our heart and family, because they both cause disturbance. And when you recognize this and learn a lesson from it, with the help of knowing Satyam, the truth, we change our perception and have a better view of life. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayalakshmi. It was wonderful summary from last class, definitely. Can we request Rupa Mataji, please, to speak his demon story, Bakasura?
Hare Krishna. Okay, Bakasura story. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that Krishna's childhood pastimes are of two types, daily pastimes and occasional pastimes. In Golaka, the daily pastimes occur without any hindrance. On earth, occasional pastimes are joined to the daily pastimes. Occasional pastimes are, number 1, Krishna's coming and going from Vraja, and number 2, Krishna's killing of the demons. For a devotee, these occasional pastimes are unfavorable for the smooth practice of meditation on the daily pastimes. By remembering these occasional pastimes, the devotee aspires to destroy his or her own sinful conduct. Demon Bakasura represents cheating propensity, cunningness, and hypocrisy. Example of cheating propensity is tendency to disobey the instructions of the Guru and Krishna due to material attachment. Example of cunningness is skillfully deceiving people. An example of hypocrisy is pretending to have higher standards. Krishna, being most merciful, burns these sinful propensities in a devotee. Without eliminating these, pure bhakti does not appear. The serious chanter should first address the Lord and pray to Him for the power to give give up this heart becomes purified. Their friends, along with us, went to a lovely lake for drinking water. Right by the lake, the boys saw a gigantic body a mountain.
Rupa, there is an
They were
interruption.
waist
Sorry,
duck
Rupa, sorry
or
to
buck.
interrupt you. Rupa, sorry, Mataji. I think there is the internet connection is very poor, so we've not been able to hear your words. We've not been able to
Sorry,
hear
Hari
your
Krishna.
words. The last 5 minutes, 3 minutes, we didn't manage to hear everything.
Okay, so they were very scared to look at us. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Okay, they were very scared to look at such a huge living being, which resembled a duck or a buck or a crane with a sharp beak. This huge crane swallowed Krishna as soon as Krishna came nearer. When Balram and the other Gopas saw this, they fell unconscious. Krishna became a ball of fire inside Bakasura's throat. Although Krishna is always soft as lotus, within Bakasura's throat, Krishna became hotter than fire. Krishna displayed his mysticism. He became very hot and very bitter. Bakasura could not bear Krishna any longer, so he immediately spit Krishna out. When Krishna is accepted as an enemy, he becomes the most intolerable object for the non-devotee, who cannot tolerate Krishna either within or outside. Bakasura tried to peck Krishna with his beak, but Krishna captured the demon, Bakasura, by the two halves of the beak, and in the presence of all the cowherd boys, Krishna very easily bifurcated Bakasura's beak. Bakasura was torn apart and he immediately fell dead. Therefore, if we are sincere and sincerely pray to Krishna, Krishna can easily remove the anarthas in the form of cheating propensity, cunningness, and hypocrisy from within the devotee's heart. All the cowherd boys felt jubilant after witnessing the killing of Bakasura demon, and when they went home, all of them sang glories of how Krishna killed Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hi, Krishna Mataji. Hi, Bo. Thank you very much for your time and the demon story. And I'll hand over to Patanjali Mani Prabhu now for the rest of the class to begin with the Srimad Bhagavatam. And I would like to welcome Patanjali Mani Prabhu, and we all can say three Hari Bol, and everybody can unmute for Patanjali Mani Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Patanjali Mani Prabhu, for enlightening us every Tuesday. You're giving us your precious time, and you always making full of knowledge all these people who are attending your classes. And it's really purely blessed, honestly. Thank you so much for giving your time, Ivo.
Hare Krishna. There is saying in old poem, Pustakastatu ya vidya parahastagatam dhanam karya karle samupanne nasa vidya natat dhanam. So, vidya, the knowledge, which is pustakasta, which is in the book. Parahasta gatam dhanam, the money in parahastam gatam, which is gone to someone else's hand. It was yours, but it went to someone else's hand. Or the money which is belong to someone else's hand. Karya karle. When time comes, sam upanne, the need for that knowledge, the need for that money, sam upanne, when it arises, nasat vidya. Actually, there is not true knowledge, and also not that dhanam. There is not money at all, which means money which gone to someone else's hand is no use to you. Knowledge which is only in the book also is no use to you. So the reason we going through Srimad Bhagavatam is that we learn the devotion, we learn the new perception of life, and then put into practice within our own life to develop spiritual practice, to develop love for Krishna. So in this regard, we had a homework that where do you see really Krishna apart from altar? And anyone did the homework? Would you like to share your own experience or your own realization? Also, where do you really see the demon apart from struggling within on your heart? Where do you see them? And then if you recognize them, how do you deal with them? So we last class, we recognized that someone says that movie, or someone says that mobile phone, TV. So then how do you deal with it? So you recognized it, and what's your response to that? So anyone would you like to share?
Please kindly raise your hand if anyone would like to answer this question, please. Or just unmute yourself and okay, there's the Harsharani Devi Dasi. Yes. Please unmute yourself. Yeah. Go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
I can answer the first part of the question. Krishna is everywhere. He's within every atom. He's in the taste of water. He's in the sun, in the moon, and in all the vegetables. He gives the life to the vegetables by shining down them on at night time as a moon. So he's within every atom. He's a Paramatma within the heart, instructing all the people within them. And he's the controller. He's a master of the senses. He's everything. So he's everywhere within us. Everything we touch, his presence is there. He's in the spiritual material worlds as well. And everything emanates from him. That's in the Bhagavad Gita, I think chapter 10 or 10:8. Yeah, so.
Here, Dr. Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, you want to say something?
Okay, so thank you. Yeah.
Yes, please. I'd like to answer the first half. Where else can you see Krishna other than the altar? In my personal life, I have seen Krishna in devotees.
Mm-hmm.
When there's an incident when I was going for my Bhakti Shastri exam, and it was very hot at 10 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see the stepping stone, and I tripped over, and my hat hit a rod which was on the footpath, and I had a excruciating pain, and I nearly blinded. I fainted, and I had a bad fracture, and I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't see the mobile, nothing. Everything was starry. And then vaguely I saw the shopkeeper coming with a bottle of water. Then one lady came, and she put my head on her lap. Then for some time I didn't know what was happening, and then when I woke up, I saw this lady and two of her children. They were carrying suitcases. So then I said, you are going to because the railway station is close by. I asked her, are you going to the railway station to catch a train? She said, yes. Then I told her, no, you go, I will manage, I said. Then she said, no, what is important? I don't mind missing the train. What is more important is to take care of you. And this is how Krishna comes in my life in so many ways.
Wow.
Good. Thank you for sharing, Mataji. So Krishna comes in the form of devotee and also in the form of doctor, maybe. So sometimes Krishna comes to our life in many forms. So that it is important for you to recognize within your own personal experience. And also next question, I think last week, Bhavini Mataji is here. Last week, Bhavini Mataji wanted to say about when I asked a question, why Krishna laughed when
I don't see Bhavini is not there yet.
Bhavini Mataji is here. Okay, not here. So anyone who thought about it, why Krishna laughed when the Brahmana refused to give food to them? Anyone had a thought? Rupa?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can have a guess.
Yeah.
Krishna, whenever there is a situation like that, very tense situation, Krishna always smiles because I think because Krishna knows past, present, and future. So
Mm.
Krishna knows what is coming. So that's why he smiles, and he is not tensed and agitated like us. Like if something happens to us suddenly, then we get bewildered and we don't know what to do. But because Krishna knows everything, so he knows what's coming. So he smiles, and nothing is difficult for him. So that's why I think, I don't know.
Okay then, Palika Mataji.
Hare Krishna. This is the same sort of thought I had, because Krishna knows if the Brahmanas are there, their wives will be there, and the ladies are much more have devotion. And then he also knew that the Brahmanas are very much to the like karmakandis, like they're very focused on the auspicious or inauspicious things. But the ladies are much more soft-hearted, and they knew that he knew that the prasad will be coming, and also he is Bhagavan, so he knows everything. So he did not want to be disturbed, because he cannot be disturbed, because he knows everything.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, anyone else?
Yeah. Pramila Mataji has unmuted herself. Pramila Mataji, yes, go ahead, please.
I think, Prabhu, I know you told us this and I should remember. I think the devotees, the ladies, they were real devotees. They really had the love for him, for God, or serving in a way where, they didn't see any difference. Whereas the men who were performing the sacrifice or the yajna, whatever, they were so focused on what they were doing, but the ladies were really the real devotees.
So that's why he loved, because the ladies are pure devotees, and then they are not men that Brahmanas, they are not really that pure as the ladies.
I can't really remember why he laughed. I'm so sorry.
Simple. When
Hare
we laugh,
Krishna. Sorry.
I'm sorry, is it really Mataji? Yeah, okay. Well.
I just thought that perhaps Krishna didn't want his devotees to get upset and tear their hairs out or whatever. Then he tried to put them at ease by laughing, because he knew he could trust them and they would make things lighter than getting serious and upset.
So thank you. So simple in one sense.
Okay, there is one other Mahaprabhuji.
One more, yeah.
Vainu Madhuri Mataji, yes, you can unmute yourself, please. Vainu
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. You see, the Prabhuji, this when Krishna sent these cohort boys to the Brahmanas, they were holding a yajna and all that there, and they said that Krishna, that they are hungry and they want some food. But those Brahmins had no realization, basically. They are doing yajna for what? Basically, they're doing yajna for Krishna. And they didn't have that realization, that sort of knowledge there. Whereas the Brahmanas' wives, that's why Krishna laughed in there. They're so ignorant, they have no realization. They are doing something without any realization. Or you can say, in another way, we can say, they are more focused on the karmakant side of it, not having the actual experience of basically, no realization, no experience of the God in themselves, So whereas the Brahmanas' wives, they are much more elevated in that way. The moment they heard the Krishna, the word Krishna basically, which stuck in here, yes, Krishna wants anything, they are prepared to do anything for Krishna. So that's why they were prepared to give the food the boys wanted for Krishna and Balarama there. And despite the Brahmanas maybe angry and this sort there, but they had the real, basically it's all about realization. The ladies are more elevated. They had the realization, they had the love, because they, whereas the men, basically the Brahmanas themselves, they are not that spiritually elevated inside. All they're doing apparently, outwardly, all these things, but internally there were no realizations.
Thank you. Okay, so you all had a very deep philosophical understanding about Krishna's love. my answer is quite simple than your philosophical answer. So simply, like we, the same, when we see sometimes some contradiction, then we laugh. For example, somebody asked me that, oh, do you know martial art? Yes, I practice martial art. So how long have you practiced? Quite long. That really? How long have you practiced? I say, yeah, I practiced around 3 weeks. Then the kind of, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so kind of, when I say I practice long means at least you may think maybe 30 years or 20 years. But I say 3 weeks. It makes a kind of a smile. In the same way, so Brahmana doing yagya, the goal of yagya is to please Krishna. And then when Krishna asks something, but they are busy at the yagya, so I don't care about what Krishna asks. So it's a total contradiction. So that's why Krishna laughed. So in this way, sometimes actually we make Krishna laugh also. So we're trying to do something, but actually the effect is totally opposite. So this is another way to look at the perception. So now let's go back to our Satyam Param Dhimai. So why Satyam Param Dhimai is very important is that ultimately truth. Then let us look at what is it really truth. Truth has many aspects to it, but one aspect is Desha Paricheda Sunyam. So truth doesn't have any differentiation of the place. Desha. Jeda means difference. And also Jeda means you split. So Desha Paricheda Sunyam. So there is no difference of the places. So for example, if the truth is in England is true, then the same truth will be applicable in India also. But sometimes we are not in that position. So for example, I can be with you in this class, but at the same time, I cannot be someone else's class. And also I can visit one of your houses, but at the same time, I cannot visit someone else's house. So we all have restriction of the desha. But real truth is that there is no restriction. But Krishna showed this through the Leela. So when Narada Muni visited Dwarka, he saw one house, and Krishna was there playing chess with his wife. Another place, Krishna making joke with his wife, and another place, all different activities Narada Muni saw. But individual house, Krishna was there at the same time with his wife. Very unique with the queen. So that the unique episode is happening at the same time. So this omnipresence is one of the aspects of Satyam. So another way, for example, gopis. When Krishna danced with the gopis, all the gopis thought Krishna is with me. None of them thought that the same Krishna can be with someone else's. This signifies that truth can be at the same time be present with all of you at the same time, but the relationship with you can be very unique. So again, Krishna killing Bakasura this week, Rupa presented nicely by tearing apart the beak. So previously, Krishna killed, for example, Chatakasura by kicking the cart. So in this way, Krishna always make unique relationship with even demons. So the same way, Krishna is willing to make unique relationship with you. So this is one of aspect of Satyam. So that you yourself make sure that what can I offer to Krishna in unique way, so that your own individual circumstances, according to that, you do your best. Then Krishna will accept that your offering. So one of Satyam is Desha Paricheda Sunyam. Another one is that second aspect of Satyam is that Kala Paricheda Sunyam. So there is no restriction of Kala, the time. So Bhagavata Krishna says that Aham Adischa Matyam Cha Bhutanam Anta Eva Cha. So I'm the beginning, I'm the middle, I'm the end also. So Krishna's presence, it was there in 5,000 years ago. Then Krishna's presence can be right here in this age. And also Krishna can be present within our class group also. So someone feels that Krishna in India in certain temple is a more powerful than Krishna in the, for example, temple in the UK. That thinking actually minimizes Krishna's true potency. Krishna is there with the same potency, the same Shakti, the same power in everywhere. That's called Kala Paricheda Sunyam. Krishna cannot be restricted in that way. So if you think in that way, for example, someone say, "Oh, I'm attached to Radha Landanishvara in London temple." So Radha Landanishvara is more powerful than Krishna in Radha Gokulananda in the Bhaktivedanta manner. But then actually that's minimizing Krishna's potency. So that type of thinking is wrong. Why? Because Satyam doesn't have that type of understanding. So in this way, Satyam means truth can be in the past, then the same truth can be in the future also. And also right now also. So this is another aspect of Satyam. That's why Satyam Param Dhimahi. And also another aspect is that Vastu Paricheda Sunyam. So Vastu. So Vastu means it's a object, or Vastu means the things that we actually see and we actually perceive. So Krishna, whether it's made out of, for example, sand, or made out of wood or marble, it has the same potency. In the same way, Krishna in our altar, in home, that Krishna also equally powerful as Krishna in the temple also. So the Krishna, although within our home, the worship can be simpler than the temple, general temple, and yet Vastu Paricheda Sunyam, that Krishna, the Vastu, that Krishna is also non-different from Krishna in the altar. If you stretch that one, then not only Krishna is multiform, so Krishna in the form of air, Krishna in the form of light, Krishna in the form of fire. In many ways, Krishna's the potency is as equal as Krishna in the on the altar. That's why if you look at in the 11th canto, there is saying that Kam Bhayu Agnim Salam Mahimcha 조땜시 사트바니 디쇼 둘마딘 사릿 사무드람자 하레이 샤리람 약긴자 부담 프라멧 ananyaya. So a devotee should not see anything as being separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Ether, fire, air, water, earth, the sun, and all other luminaries, all living beings, the directions, trees, and other planets, the rivers and oceans, whatever a devotee experience, he should consider to be an expansion of Krishna. Thus, seeing everything that exists within creation as the body of the Supreme Lord, Hari, the devotee should offer his sincere respects to the entire expansion of the Lord body. But here we have a problem. Literally, we understand that when we hear this, we accept this fact also. But how much do we experience? How much do we experience in our life? That is question. So for example, everyone experienced the falling of apple. So now almost all the apple is fallen, but still, when I do morning walk, still I saw some kind of, some trees, still they have an apple. So for Newton, by the seeing the falling of an apple, he got an idea of law of gravity and also universal gravitation. You know, in modern days, whatever you look at, so for example, computer, cars, and then new gadgets, and also the democracy, politically democracy, all this, actually the origin, the starting point is the Newton's, the change of perception. Previously, you know, the Christian society, it's called the Middle Age. So they thought everything is arranged by God, so that for us, we just accept God, everything, you know, way that if you follow the, what you call Bible, that is everything. But the scientists started to figure out in the details, so how did this work? That they started to apply the natural phenomena with math. So they use the math to calculate. So in this way, the Newton's, the different way of thinking. So previously they tried to explain the movement of sun, movement of earth, just by the simple biblical explanation. But now they start to use scientific language. So this is the start of it. So because of this, actually humanitarianism came, and also Renaissance came. So all the change of modern life as a starting point is Newton. In real life, more recently, I'm sure you know the person called Helen Keller. So she got a disease at a very young age that she didn't have a sense of seeing and hearing, so that she couldn't recognize the world. But her teacher, Sullivan, taught her every object has a name to it. So it took a long time for her to recognize a name to an object. So since then, she started to learn. Now, this change of perception is changing one person's life. So again and again, the reason I'm saying is that the perception is important is that sometimes we can put a wrong perception also. So for example, when we talk about Mother Kunti, so academic world, Mother Kunti is not that respected. For us, Mother Kunti is symbol of the bhakti. But academic world, what they talk about the Mother Kunti? Kunti is a very political lady. Number one, they give an argument that when he had Karna by sun god, because at that time she wasn't married, so that she put Karna in the basket and then let it flow on the river. So this is not motherly act. They're saying this. And also, she's so political, so that when she called other gods to conceive the children, she wouldn't allow the Madri having more children than her. So she gave opportunity only once, because she doesn't want to lose the power over the main queen. So that the Madri also got clever, so that because she can call only once, so she called Gemini god, so that she can have the twins. So that's why she got the Nakula and Sahadev. And also when they are in the kingdom, there are many instances. They see Kunti's act as very political. It's their view. But our view is entirely different. So that in our life, according to what perception you have, actually that molds our life. Again, reading Bhagavatam, in the Mohini Murti story, if you look at Mohini Murti story, Krishna took a form of a beautiful woman. And then even Lord Shiva was bewildered by the beauty of Mohini. That when Mohini ran away, Lord Shiva was running after her. Interestingly, Mohini went through all the Shiva worshippers' places. So those who worshipping Lord Shiva, great sages, they saw Lord Shiva chasing after Mohini Murti. And then at that time, Krishna created the wind and then made her clothes is, for example, undressed. So that it looks like Lord Shiva is running after a naked woman. So make Lord Shiva completely embarrassed. So then the people are questioning why Krishna made Lord Shiva embarrassed in such a way. But our Acharya's explanation is different. No, the reason Krishna went through all different places of Shiva worshippers is that it's not about making Lord Shiva embarrassed. Actually, in order to glorify Lord Shiva, he's a devotee. Why? Because Lord Shiva is never affected by Krishna's external energy. But Mohini Murti represents Krishna's internal energy. So even Lord Shiva appreciates Krishna's internal energy. Another thing is that Lord Shiva, although some people lost the faith in Shiva, but Shiva didn't let himself down. He was completely calm, and then he didn't lose composure. Still, he was glorifying Krishna, and then he didn't sway by the different criticism of the other people, other worshippers. So in this way, Krishna actually revealed the true greatness of Lord Shiva. So in our life, we have sometimes challenges. So then how do you see the challenges? And how do we respond to the challenges? For example, sometimes we have to think that what's the difference between understanding and experiencing or realizing. So if we truly recognize Krishna or demon in our life, then the attitude towards it has to change. So this is true point of learning the change of perception. So this type of change of perception, not only we can see through the Bhagavatam, even Jesus Christ was saying the same thing, similar thing. One time, Jesus was asked by his disciple, "How do I find peace?" Jesus said that you can find peace in 4 different ways. Number 1, always try to have less than more. Normally, our tendency is that we want to have more and more. But Jesus says totally another perception. Try to have less rather than more. Second principle, always seek to be last rather than the first. So we want to win the gold medal. Always we want to be first. But Jesus said the totally opposite. And the third principle, always seek to the will of another rather than your own. We want to have things done in our own way. But Jesus said that seek to do the will of other rather than your own. And finally, in all things, learn to accept the will of God. In one sense, it's a very similar teaching to our Vairagya. So in this way, if we change perception, then we'll communicate with Krishna. So Krishna will not ask, what kind of house do you have? Or how many bedrooms you have in your house? But Krishna may ask, what kind of home do you have? What do you do your home sweeter? Krishna will not ask, if you have a job, what position do you have? How much wage do you have? Krishna may not ask. Krishna will ask, at your work, did you earn respect? At your work, do you have peace? Krishna may not ask, do you have a partner or not? Or if you have a partner, what kind of partner you have? Krishna may not ask that kind of question. But Krishna will ask, do you have stability? Do you have a good relationship with your partner? They might ask. Krishna may not ask, which yoga do you practice? We have many Ashtanga yoga, Raja yoga, and also we trying to practice Bhakti yoga. But someone practice Jnana yoga. Will Krishna ask, which yoga do you practice? If you perform Bhakti yoga, you become my devotee. If you practice Ashtanga yoga, you are not my devotee. Will Krishna say that? Krishna may ask, did you really have tranquility in mind? In your mind? That will be Krishna's question. So, in this way, there are many instances in the Bhagavatam to offer us true perception in life and what kind of perception Krishna wants us to have. Like true satyam, what is truth in life? So last week class, I was surprised that 10 years boy said that, do you see Krishna? Yes, I see Krishna everywhere, in everyone's heart. So this type of answer, even 10 years old boy can give. But now, in our life, let us try to see Krishna in what way, in what instant. So for example, there is a rope and snake. So you know this example. So if we mistake rope or snake, we'll be scared. But we know the rope, then we won't be scared. the response is different. But if you know that there is a snake, that if you recognize, then you will be careful. So in this way, through all this instant, we have to develop another perception in life. So I thought that way, how then develop this change of perception ultimately? Then it's better to we seek shelter of Krishna. So the how Krishna offers the answer. So Srimad Bhagavatam is not chronological. So if you have to, for example, in history, they start with from all the Stone Age, and the next one is, I don't know, Bronze Age, Iron Age, etc., etc. But Bhagavatam is not mentioned in that way. Bhagavatam is mentioned topic by topic according to Parashar Maharaj's question. So we'll now go through chapter 23 of 11th canto. Why? Although Prabhupada said that study systematically, step by step, but and yet, in order to understand the meaning of Satam Param Dhimai clearly, I thought that we at least one example of how Krishna offers the change of perception to us. So then it will make us understand better. So that we will go through one by one from the chapter 1, from canto 1. But at this moment, just in order to understand the better of Krishna's true aspect, which is Satyam, we'll go through 11 canto. So I'm sure you got all 11 canto you got with you, so that I would like to start Sanskrit, and then you read translation,
yeah.
And then I'll explain a little bit, and then again, but one person I want read 5 verses, so that I noticed that sometimes it's difficult to switch it on and then again turn it off, so it takes some time. So that I will ask the one person for 5 verses, so that we make it a bit smooth. So anyone, okay, who is the first person to read?
Is it Niti Lakshana Mataji? Hare Krishna, Niti Lakshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, I can't read Sanskrit. Oh, yes, I'm here.
No, I'll read Sanskrit,
okay,
and then Mataji, you read the translation, yeah?
Okay, then, thank you.
Sri Bhadranayar Uvacha Saeva Asamsitta Uttavena Bhagavata Mukhena Tasahal Mukhyaha Savajayam Vrityavacho Mukundas Tamabhavase Sri Shravaniya Virya. Translation, please.
Sukadeva Goswami said, Lord Mukunda, the chief of the Dasharas, having thus been respectfully requested by the best of his devotees, Sri Uddhava first acknowledged the fitness of his servants' statements. Then the Lord, whose glorious exploits are most worthy of being heard, began to reply him.
So this chapter starts with Krishna's reply. So here it says that Sa evam asamstaha. So Krishna was respectfully questioned by whom? Uddhavena. So Krishna saying that now I'm going to answer your question. Then we have to know the question, isn't it? So anyone can read chapter 22.
Bhagavad.
Can anyone read chapter 22? The let's say The verse is, just 1 second, the last, from the last, the third verse. Okay, let me find it. Okay, sorry about this. I just prepared it, but somehow it went missing. So, chapter 22, text 58 and 59.
Okay, yeah.
Anyone can read?
Yeah, just a second. Yeah, Prabhu, 1 second. Let me just see here on I'll just ask who is
11
available to
Canto,
read.
chapter 22, text 58, 59.
Yeah, is anyone is available or shall I just read it now
I can
myself?
read. I can read.
Okay, Vishayani Devi Dasi, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Even though neglected, insulted, ridiculed, or envied by bad men, or even though repeatedly agitated by being beaten, tied up, or deprived of one's occupation, spat upon, or polluted with urine by ignorant people, one who desires the highest goal in life should, in spite of all these difficulties, use his intelligence to keep himself safe on the spiritual
platform.
And then text 60.
Okay. Sri Udal said, "Oh, best of all speakers, please explain to me how I may properly understand this." 61.
Yeah, 61, please.
O soul of the universe, the conditioning of one's personality in material life is very strong, and therefore it is very difficult even for learned men to tolerate the offenses committed against them by ignorant people. Only your devotees who are fixed in your loving service and who have achieved peace by residing at your lotus feet are able to tolerate such offenses.
So,
okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Here, Uddhava's question is that in our life, we experience many offenses. Yes. For example, we get neglected by someone, get insulted, get ridiculed, and also it says here, get beaten up, or get tied up, and then it says deprived of one's occupation. Sometimes we get kicked out of the job. And also here it says that you can get spat upon or polluted with urine by someone. But those who seek spiritual path, we have to tolerate all this. But here, particularly Uddhava asking that I can tolerate all other things, but one thing I cannot tolerate. What does Uddhava cannot tolerate? Being insulted. So this is most difficult for me. So that how can I tolerate this insult? So then Krishna answers here, so that, okay, so I'm going to answer your question. So this is how this 11th canto, 23rd chapter starts. Now let's go to text 2.
Yes, Niti Lakshya Mataji.
Okay.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, I read the Sanskrit. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Bharaspatya san nastyatra sadurbai tuljanetriyai durakta hilbhinna atmanam yasamadhatum ishvaraha. Translation, please.
Lord Krishna said, "O disciple Bharaspati, there is virtually no saintly man in this world capable of resettling his own mind after it has been disturbed by the insulting words of uncivilized men.
So here Krishna makes a very interesting statement. Sadhu, so-called sadhu, nasti atra. Actually, there are no sadhu in such a way that dul jane. So duljana is jana means a person. Duljana means the bad person. In the here translation it says that uncivilized man. Itarahi. By them they used dul uktahi. Ukta means said, but dul ukta, sadly bad way, which means insulting way. So then, even if sadhu, if they are insulted, then what happens? Binnam atman, their mind becomes binna, is disturbed. So ya samadhatum ishvaraha, those who can tolerate samadhatum, control, is very, very rare. Na asti atra, here actually practically none can tolerate actually insult, even they are sadhu. Here particular word used as samadhatum. So do you remember in Bhagavad Gita, he mentioned that last week we said atachitta samadhatum nashangnoshi. So if you don't focus your mind, then how do you do? You adhyasa yogena mam ichatum dhananjaya. So the 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, it says that Krishna offers the advice to Arjuna. Arjuna saying that, oh, it's so difficult to control our mind. So then what do I need to do? So here saying that atachitta samadhatum nashangnoshi. Here the word used, the samadhatum, the controlling, the fixing the mind. But first Krishna's advice was abhyasa yogena tato mam icchatum dhananjaya. So he said it like that. So in this way, samadhatum. So difficult to control the mind when you get insulted. So this is how first part of this chapter starts. So let's move on. Natata tapyata vida puman banastu malgagahi yatatudanti malgastahi asatam parusheshavaha. Translation, please.
Sharp arrows which pierce one's chest and reach the heart do not cause as much suffering as the arrow of harsh, insulting words that become lodged within the heart when spoken by uncivilized men.
So, natata tyapate vidaha. Tyapate, that means which causes pain, makes painful. Puman, a person, bhanastu malga gahi. So, in the heart, the arrow goes in the heart, but by the sharp words. So he says here, yatha tudanti malgasta hi asatam parusheshavaha. So sometimes in olden days, when there is a war, they are fighting each other. So that the sharp arrows, the piercing to the heart, this must be painful. But this is not painful as much as yatha tudanti malgasta hi astam parusheshavaha. So asatam, satam means devotee or good person. Asatam means evil person. When evil person, when they use sharp words like arrow, and when this stuck in our heart, that is more painful than actually real arrow. So in this way, Krishna describes how a sharp word causes more pain than the real arrows. And then next verse, Kathayanti mahat punyam itihasam ihottava tamaham bharnaishami nibota su samahitaha. Okay, translation please.
My dear Uddhava, in this regard, a most pious story is told, and I shall now describe it to you. Please listen with careful attention.
So here's something important. Itihasam. Itihasam is, it says story, but as you know, itihasa means, literally meaning is history. Why? Iti, thus, ha, asam, it was. It truly happened. So katayanti, so people saying about this true instant is not the made-up story. It truly happened, and then this truly happened story, I know this story, and then this is story itself, punyam. Story itself is a punyam kata. So this story, aham, now, varnashami. So I will narrate to you. So niboda, so you listen carefully, susamitaha, with full attention. So this is not just a made up story, this is a true story. Yes, so that we go through true story, which Krishna narrates to Uddhava to teach how to deal with insult. Kenachit bhikshuna gitam paribhutena tuljanahi smaratta dhritti yuktena pipakam nijakalmanam. Translation, please.
Once a certain sannyasi was insulted in many ways. In my impious mind, however, with determination, he remembered that he was suffering the fruit of his own previous karma. I will narrate to you his story and that which he spoke.
So, Kenachit Bhikshunaha. Bhikshu here is translated as sannyasi, but actually Bhikshu means the beggar. So those who maintain themselves by begging, this is called Bhikshu. So it's called Bhikshu Gita. So this chapter 23 title is Bhikshu Gita. So I'm going to narrate this song of Bhikshu, song of the beggar. So Bhagavad Gita is a song which is sung by Bhagavan. It's called Bhagavad Gita. So here, Bhikshu Gita, I'm going to narrate so that this is how it begins. So next
Okay, sorry,
verse.
the next one is going to be Navneet Prabhu. He's going to do the 5 translation. Navneet Prabhu, Prabhu. Is he available?
Okay,
Sorry, is Navneet Prabhu
so
there?
next.
Please confirm if Navneet Prabhu is online. Okay, in that case. Okay,
We are online.
I'm
He's
online.
online.
Okay, fine. So you will read the next 5 ones, yeah? Next 5 translations, please.
Starting from text 5?
Yeah, no, from 6, 7, 8, 9,
6.
10.
Okay. Hold on.
So I'll read the Sanskrit first. Avantishu dvija kaschid asit adhyatamaha adhyatama sriyaha palta vritti kadaryastu kami luptati kopanaha.
Please read the translation. Thank you.
Oh, hold on. That's coming.
In the country of Avanti, there once lived a certain Brahman who was very rich and gifted with all opulences, and who was engaged in the occupation of commerce. But he was a miserly person, lusty, greedy, and very prone to anger.
So now, Krishna starts the story with one man, Dvija, Kaschit Dvija. Dvija means Brahmana, twice born. So a certain Brahmana, Avantishu, where he was living, he was in Avanti. Avantishu Dvija Kaschit Asit, there was. And then Adhyatamaha Sriyaha. So here, very interesting. He says here, Adhyatamaha. Tamaha means the superlative, good, better, and best. So in Sanskrit, Tamaha means best. So he says very rich. It's not ordinary rich. So in modern terminology, it's called super rich. So Adya is wealth. Adya Tamaha is not just the good, not just the better, is best rich he has. Adya Tamaha. Shriyaha. So he is truly opulent. How? Bharta, by business, and also Britihi, by earning his livelihood. But his character is Kadalya. Kadalya is miserly. So Kadalya is a very interesting word, which signifies not only he is stingy on others, he is stingy towards himself also. Although he has huge of wealth, he lived very meager. So he doesn't spend money on others, and also he doesn't spend money on himself either. Kami, he's very lusty, always he's counting money, he wants to get more money, more money. Luptaha, very greedy. And also another character about him is Ati Kopana. Kopana means anger, one who easily get angry. But Ati Kopana, very much easily get angry, this person. So in his life, he has full of anger, and also he's very stingy. He's the main character. And also, of course, he's greedy for the money. So this is this Brahmana's character. Now let's go next. Nyatayo tithayastasya bhammatrenapi nalchitaha sunya vasatha atmapi kalle kamai analchitaha.
In his home, devoid of religiosity and lawful sense gratification, the family members and guests were never properly respected, even with words. He would not even allow sufficient gratification for his own body at the suitable times.
Thank you.
So here, ban matrena api na achtaha. So when he meets, for example, nyatayaha, the relatives, and atitaya. So atiti is guest, atitaya means the plural, many guests. So which means not only once, many times when he meet guests, he doesn't even offer sweet word also. So we know the code of conduct of receiving guests. First of all, when guest arrives, we offer sweet word first. Oh, welcome, thanks for coming. And then next step is we offer the seat. So would you like to sit here? You kind of introduce your house where you can sit properly. And then he offered water, would you like some drink? Or if they're hungry, would you like something to eat? So this is the third step. And then finally you offer the gift. So this is how to receive guests. But he doesn't even start the beginning. There's no sweet word. As you know, Bhismadev, when Krishna came, so he was happy to receive Krishna, and yet he wasn't in a position because he was on the bed of arrow. So he said that all I can offer you is a sweet word. Then he offered glorification to Krishna. But this Brahmana, ban matre napi, ban matra. So even word, he doesn't use. Because sweet word, it doesn't cost anything, but he doesn't do. So, and also sunya avasta. So he doesn't do any proper religious activity and at home. Certain activity which make a house stable, home stable, he doesn't do anything. And also kale kamai. So whatever he does, his activity is not respecting the time. There is certain activity to do in the morning, and there is certain activity to do in the evening. But he ignored all these suitable times. And also, he himself also very austere, calm-eyed. He doesn't enjoy much either. So very interesting personality describing Krishna. So the Krishna is describing this personality very in detail. And then next, Tusilasha Galda Yasha Duhyante Putra Vandavaha Dhara duhitro britya pishanna nacharan priyam.
Since he was so hard-hearted and miserly, his sons, in-laws, wife, daughters, and servants began to feel inimical towards him. Becoming disgusted, they would never treat him with affection.
So he himself, the Brahmana himself, ati kopanha, he get easily angry. And also Bhag, his word is always very negative. And also he's very austere for himself and also never giving anything. So he said here, Dushilasha. Shila means character, Dushila is a very bad character. And also Kadalya, very miser. And then due to this character, Dujante, he developed enmity. From whom? Putra. He has sons. From Putra, his Pandava, relatives, in-laws, and then Dhara, his wife. Duitara. Duitri is daughter. Duitara means many daughters. He had many daughters. None of them liked him. Even Brityaha, servant. So here it's an interesting word, the Vishanna. All the people very much disturbed by him. So do you remember the one verse in the 6th canto, the Britrasura saying that Priyam Preeva Vishutam Vishanna. So when we hanker load, you give example of Ajata Paksha. So those who little chick waiting for the mother bird, and also the cows, calf which is waiting for mother cow to feed him. And also Priyam Puriyeva, the young married wife, Vishanna, she's very much in pain. Why? Because husband went away. So that she's waiting for the husband to come back. So Vishanna is used that time when you have tremendous pain in the heart. It's called Vishanna. So all these people around this Brahmana feeling this pain in the heart, the Vishanna, due to Dushila, the bad character of this Brahmana. So in this way, none of them liked this Brahmana. But and yet he was a huge rich. So now, Tasha evan yakshavitasya chutta shobaya lokataha dharmakama vihinasya chukrutuhu panchavaginaha. Please read this one. Translation, please.
In this way, the presiding deities of the 5 family sacrifices became angry at the Brahman, who, being niggardly, guarded his wealth like a yaksh, who had no good destination either in this world or the next, and who was totally deprived of religiosity and sense enjoyment.
Here, something very interesting concept is coming. Yaksha Vitta. You know what is Yaksha Vitta? Yaksha Vitta is, Yaksha means the demon who doesn't have a physical form of body. So when they are hungry, they want to eat. Even if we offer food, they cannot eat it. So Yaksha is a very particular form of ghost or demon. So Yaksha Vitta means one who has money, but that money is like a Yaksha. So money is no use at all. When money is utilized properly, that is benefits society, benefits your family, benefits you also. But Yaksha Vitta is that money, although money is there, but it's not utilized for himself, for others also. So it is called Yaksha Vitta. So for the Yaksha Vitta, Ubaya Lokataha, Chutta Ubaya Lokataha. In both worlds, in this life and next, both Chuttasha. Chutta is deprived. Chutta means fallen. So Krishna's name, one of name is Achyuta, one who never falls. But his life is fallen. if you become Yakshabita. You have a lot of money, but and yet you don't know how to utilize. You don't spend any, just simply accumulate. It becomes Yakshabita. So people think that if I offer, for example, some donation to the temple, then they think they are helping the temple. But actually they are helping themselves. Why? Because you at least do something not to become Yakshabita. And also, if you become Yakshabita, then you know what happens? Chukrutuhu panchabhaginaha. So there are deities of 5 prescribed household sacrifice. So there are Pancha Mahayagya for householders. Every householders, every single day, they have to do this Mahayagya, 5 yagyas. So what is Pancha Mahayagya? Number 1 is Deva Yagya. Number 2 is Rishi Yagya. Number 3 is Manusha Yagya. Number 4 is the Bhuta Yagya. And then number 5 is the Pitri Yagya. So this Yagya, in olden days, actually they were doing every single day. So Deva Yagya means worshipping the gods. All the, for example, sun god, and then the gods, wind god, all different gods, for example, Shiva or Brahma, whatever. And this is Deva Yagya. And then another Yagya is Rishi Yagya. So you offer respect to all the rishis. And then Bhuta Yagya, you offer respect to all living entity. And then Pitru Yagya is offer respect to your ancestors. And then Manusha Yagya is offer respect to other human beings. So Pancha Bhaginha, there are deities who is in charge of this Pancha Yagya, and then they were very angry.
Prabhuji, I think you're breaking. Patanjali Muni Prabhu, your sound's not coming very clear at all.
It sounds not clear?
Now it's okay. Yeah, it's breaking. Every word was breaking.
Every word is breaking. Oh, what should we do?
Yeah, I think it's just maybe the internet connection is poor around there somewhere. So just maybe if you have just some, I don't know, your laptop.
Okay, so time is coming to 7 o'clock. So let us maybe end here. Yeah, so then next week, I will start with this Pancha Mahayagya. So that we start from here. I'll explain a bit more about Pancha Mahayagya.
Pancha Mahayagya, yeah.
So that people can understand better about the household duties.
Okay, we're going to continue the chapter 11, the verse 10, yeah?
Verse so 10. We'll start with, actually we'll read one more time the text 9.
Okay, no, but...
And then we start from text 9 and then we go from there.
9, okay, fine. Okay, then that's fine, Babaji.
And also,
thank you.
Before I end, one more time, so if you have time, please read this chapter at the end, Bhikshu Gita. So the Brahmana, after the same Brahmana, truly stingy, truly in bad character, somehow he get realization by Krishna's mercy, and then he make a song. So it's called, the Bhikshu Gita is very famous. And also this song contains entire essence of the Upanishad, the essence of teachings of Gita and Bhagavatam. So that if you get a chance, if you read in advance, then next week when we discuss, then you will understand better. And also when the question answer session comes, if you bring some question, then other people also will get benefit of this chapter.
Yeah. Thank you.
So in this way, if you read this chapter, then you will get truly new perception of
Thank you,
how to deal with.
Thank you very much. I just have to let everyone know as well that Another 3 to 4 weeks, Mataji Muni Prabhu is still going to continue with the chapter Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 11, chapter 23 or further up for another 3 to 4 session, I think. Right, Mataji Muni Prabhu? 3 to 4, and then we will go back to Canto 1, chapter 1, and we'll begin the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, because we just would like to know the base of the Bhagavatam first. So that is the reason why we are moving to Canto 11 for currently. But just to say, you already been patient, just be more 3 weeks to 4 weeks more patience, and we'll continue from the Canto 1. Yeah, thank you very much, being patient with all of us every day, every Tuesday. And now that if anybody has a question answer, we don't have so much time because it's supposed to be 6:45. However, one person can ask question if anybody has something to ask. And then the rest of the people can question on the group. Yeah, go on. Yeah, Haribo. Hare Krishna, Sunita Mataji. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. I just had one question. I'm sure that will be carried on actually in the next chapters. Like you already said, it's gonna all this Deva, Rishi, Manush, Bhut, Pitre worship, that's going to be continued in the next chapters. It's just one question just pop in my head regarding this. Obviously, as a householder, or even if you're not a householder, in any varnashram, we should be worshipping Lord Krishna, and we shouldn't be focused on the other demigods or all these worshipping like wind god or sun god. But there are some family traditions which obviously we follow. We worship Lord Krishna as well, but all these things, some family tradition also continued in the family as a rituals. So how can we balance ourselves actually between our family traditions and between the worshipping Krishna, following Krishna consciousness as well? Because there are so many families. There are some worshipping ancestors, and they have a family gods as well. So how can we balance?
That's a very good question.
I think that's about the Kuldevi Mata. So the Mata is talking about the, people have a Kuldevi. Every family has a Kuldevi. So it's like a demi-goddess. So every community and the different form, everybody have a Kuldevi Mata who they actually worship. And they do their nived and everything as well, irregular basis, yearly, once in a year, something. So yeah, this is the thing. I think many of the devotees might have this question in their mind.
Okay, this is a very good question, very practical question, and also not only you and all other family maybe had the same question. So interestingly enough, Prabhupada in morning program includes all 5 Pancha Mahayagyas. So for example, by attending, by doing arti to Krishna, you do Deva Yagya. Yes, worshiping Krishna means worshiping all other different demigods. And then, second thing is, for example, Pitru Yagya. So by worshiping Krishna at home, for example, you offer incense, and then you offer flowers. So what we do after offering to Krishna, and then we turn around and you offer to all the guests. And also if there is a picture of, for example, your mother or your ancestor, so you offer that the same incense to first offering Krishna, and then you offer to them. Actually, they are taking Mahaprasadam from the Krishna. Yeah. So automatically, Pitru Yagya is done. For example, offer flowers to Krishna. Then next day, don't throw that flower into the garden. That flower offered to Krishna, you offer to your ancestor on the picture or in any form. Then that means that you are doing Pitru Yagya. And then Manusha Yagya. Manusha Yagya means you offer respect to the human being, which means another meaning, another description of Manusha Yagya is Atiti Yagya. When you receive a guest, actually there is actually Yagya. Receiving guest is not the simple thing. In the Vedic culture, receiving guest is, you saying, you know already, Krishna comes in the form of guest. Vishnu visit your house in the form of guest. So any guest you receive nicely. Sometimes you have a house program, you invite the devotees. Actually, this is Manusha Yagya or Atiti Yagya. So this three Yagya is done. And then Rishi Yagya. How do you do Rishi Yagya? If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, the Rishi Yagya is done. Why? Because so many rishis, how we respect rishis, how do we worship rishis, how do we do Yagya for rishis? By reading their scriptures.
Okay.
So by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, actually we are doing Rishi Yagya. Not only we are worshiping Bhagavatam itself is not only Nandi from Krishna, but in Bhagavatam there are so many personalities appears. So by reciting their name, actually we are doing Rishi Yagya. That's why very important to read, if you can, even if difficult, try to read the Sanskrit. Of course, in the English also their Rishi's name is there, but by reciting their name, actually you are offering your respect, actually you are doing Yagya. So Rishi Yagya is done. So finally the Bhuta Yagya. Bhuta Yagya is best form. Bhuta Yagya is people all. You're helping the distributing the prasadam. So in South India, they do in front of their house, their Rangoli. Yes?
Yeah.
So they're beautiful patterns. The true purpose of Rangoli is to feed the little insect. These are living entities because they use rice flour. So that sometimes in the rainy season, or sometimes they don't get enough food. So by doing that Rangoli, actually they are feeding all the living entity. So by doing prasadam distribution, or you get involved, you're helping chopping the vegetable, whatever, that is becomes Bhuta Yagya. So sometimes when you have time, Sunday you come and then you come to the kitchen and chopping the vegetable. Looks like a simple service, but actually that is Yagya. It's a Bhuta Yagya. So in this way, Prabhupada included all this Pancha Maha Yagya with a single program. In the morning program, if you follow morning program, then you'll offer incense to Krishna, and then you offer flowers to your ancestor, and also you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you attend the Bhagavatam class. There is none different from Rishi Yagya, and also Prasadam distribution. You before you eat, you stand in the rather than stand in the queue, you serve food to all devotees who's in the queue. Then this is Bhuta Yagya as well as Manusha Yagya. So just within just the morning program, a few hours, Prabhupada included all these things, such a perfect way, practical way, so that no clashes of your own family functions. So sometimes the family tradition, we have to respect. Because I'm devotee, so I don't want to do. No, you just attend of the family function. And yet, your duty for Mahayagya is done just by following. So there is no conflict. There is no way of, I hope there is no confusion regarding certain family deities, whatever. So if there is family deities, you worship them. How? By offering flowers, which is already offered to Krishna. So you offer them. So this is perfectly fine. Does it answer you, Mataji?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you so much for such a wonderful explanation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Srila Mataji, for a wonderful question. Shall we just do the closing prayer, Pataji Prabhu? It's already 10
Okay,
past.
so sorry, I got a bit over, so let's do closing prayers.
Yeah.
Om Salve Bhavantu Sukhina, Salve Santu Niramaya, Salve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Makaschi Tukavakabe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Asato ma satkamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now please all together, please everybody unmute.
Yeah, please. Jai
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Nityananda
Sri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Devasari Gaura Bhaktinda Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama Hare
Rama Hare
Rama
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 Rama Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama
Rama
Hare
Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
Namji Muni Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol for
Thank you.
Patanjali Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Govinda.
Haribo.
Kalpatarvasya
Thank you,
Kipasindava
Babu.
Evasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo
Yo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo.
Namo Namah.
Hari
Jai.
Bol.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you very
Krishna.
much.